All right, this is the ultimate in SALT. This is called settle it once and for all analysis, low tech. And yeah, I know I did a bunch of stuff on Super Bowl 50. I got to do one more. I got to do one more because I'm getting I'm hearing wrong analysis on what happened out there in Super Bowl 50. And let's get right to it. You'll hear the following. Denver beat up on Carolina. Oh, they just smacked Cam around. They exposed him. I'm reading these off but I want to be clear on the ones that I wrote. They played. They just outplayed and dominated this game and outplayed Carolina. Oh, the pass rush was unbelievable, and the pass rush was unbelievable. And then finally you'll hear, great defense beats great offense. Do you think coming into the game, Cam's going to get it, he's going to be all over the place. They've been scoring 30 points a game, but another example of great defense beats great offense. And then they'll say, and really this follows that, the better team won. Denver, the better team, they won. So now, here's what I'm incensed about. Here's why I'm steaming. We got to settle this once and for all. Even if you're right about all of them, you're not right about that very last one that the better team won. That's what I'm going to be demonstrating. And let's get started by saying, are all those things right? I mean, even if you're right about all those things, you're forgetting about one little thing. But okay, well, let's take this slow. Okay, unbelievable defense by Denver. That obviously that's correct. Denver played fantastic defense. Now, if you're going to tell me they exposed Carolina, what do you mean by exposed Carolina? Meaning, everybody saw that Cam played the way he played the first few years in his career during this game. He didn't play at all the way he played this year. Now, I don't know if maybe you expected that. I expected him to play that way against Seattle. I expected him to play that way against Arizona. But now he had me convinced that he's not going to do a clunker. All right, I don't know if he'll, Super Bowl's a different type of, that's a different animal. A lot of pressure there, okay. And Denver's defense is the best pass rush he had faced. Even better than Seattle's pass rush, even better than Arizona's pass rush. So, okay, you want to tell me great defense stops great offense. All right, you want to tell me you're going to slow them down? Fine. Again, I don't know how you could have expected that based on what Cam did this year and followed it up in the playoffs against Seattle and against Arizona. All right, and don't forget that you are looking at Denver in the eyes of what they did 2 weeks ago. That's my next point. 2 weeks ago, they beat New England, and they smacked Brady around. So everybody got this idea. Denver's an unbelievably dominant defense. Again, Denver is an excellent defense, but dominant, I think, is pushing it. They played dominant in that game, and they do have a dominant pass rush. But do they have a dominant defense match? I don't think they're as good as Seattle the last few years. Not this year, but Seattle before that. Certainly not in Baltimore 2000 and Bears 85. I'm hearing Malik Jackson going around. We're the best defense ever. Come on. They're the number one defense this year. I'll give you that. That's as far as I'll go. Excellent defense. Defense does stop good offense. Very good. I agree with that. I have a 6-part series on that. Denver, dominant defense. I don't know. Don't get carried away with what they did against New England. And one of the reasons they did it against New England was because New England doesn't have a running game. New England does not have a running game. So they can just tee off on Brady. And I've seen that before where Brady's just dropping back to pass. And if you smack him around a few times, and by the way, they did not smack him around 23 times. I have that documented on a 6-part series on SALT. And watch it. You'll watch Tom Brady throwing lefty as I got all the low tech really showed itself there. But they only smacked him about. They smacked him around a lot, but not 23 times. Brady was able to move the ball in that game on short passing. I demonstrate that. But Denver did an excellent job in that game. And again, they have a very good, excellent defense. I'm not saying that. Let's not get carried away with dominant defense. And even if you're right about those two, Denver is a dominant defense. And dominant defenses stop great offenses. And they expose Cam Newton. And that he's not he's not the 15-1 that you saw this whole season. He doesn't play as well as that. And they showed that, First of all, Carolina has a running game. Carolina has a running game. Carolina, they were going to stop the running game too. They were going to totally stop Cam throwing and the running game. And did they actually stop Cam in this game? They're going around, everybody's saying, oh, they dominated on defense. First of all, Cam put up 10 legitimate points. 7 points on one 70-yard drive, and three other points on a 30-yard drive, right? So that's 10 already. Then they had a drive where they dropped a touchdown pass. Kotchery had it in his hands, and then Von Miller actually knocks that ball out. I don't know if you noticed, everybody noticed that. Von Miller pokes it out, but Kotchery should have held on to that. And he's got it in the end zone. That would have been 17 points already. Now, it happens to be he dropped it. Then they try a field goal, it hits the upright. So it would have been either 13 or 17. Then they had a 50-yard drive that ended with Cam with no pressure on him, no pass rush, throwing it over the middle, but he's throwing it high, which he had not done all year. He was accurate this year, right? That's why they scored 30 points a game. You have an accurate passer, Cam, with a great running game and a great defense. I mean, that's it's one of the great teams of all time if Cam is accurate. But here, Cam was not accurate. He threw it over the middle high to Ted Ginn. Don't throw it high to Ted Ginn. Bad choice of receivers to throw it high to. Went off his hands, and who did it go? Luckily, right to Ward. Interception. And then luckily, as he's running it back, he fumbles, and who recovers that? Luckily, Denver, with Ted Ginn, by the way, had the first shot at it. So basically, Carolina had chances for more points. They were dominated this game. That is, they did nothing. Maybe they did nothing. They had 10 points, and they could have had as many as 17, 20 points. Okay, but let's say you tell me that before the game, you knew that Carolina was going to get rushed, that Denver was going to sack them that many times. Cam was going to be not accurate. He was going to be a little nervous at the beginning, which it seemed he was. And he was going to throw a pick. And the running game was going to be slowed down tremendously. You had all of that, right? Tell me you had all of that, right? So how many points would you expect Carolina to have gotten? You see, with all that happened, Carolina still, like say, got 10 points, and she could have had 13, 17 points. So let's give them 13 points, all right? 13, 17, somewhere in that, between 10 and 17 points, fine. Now, here's the point, 1 point you made. So I'm granting you all of that, but don't tell me still that the better team won the game. You're missing one little point. We forgot to talk about the other side of the ball. When Denver has the ball against Carolina's defense. Oh, we forgot about that. Carolina's defense is nothing to sneeze at either. I don't know if they're as good as Denver's defense. Certainly don't have as good a pass rush, but they are a top-rated defense. They've been good for years now, and they've been solid. And Peyton Manning's, the only weakness they have is the deep secondary, the back end of the secondary. Peyton Manning's not going to be able to take advantage of that. So coming into this game, and on my shoulda analysis Saturday night before the game, I said, I don't know how Denver has a chance to win when I don't know how Cam will do. And I admitted I wasn't sure how Cam would do. I expected him to actually do well. Mistake of mine. I thought he would do well. But even if he doesn't do well, how many points is Peyton Manning putting up? And if you know my joke, I said, how many points is Brock Osweiler going to put up? Because I didn't think Peyton would last through the first quarter if Kubiak had the courage to realize that Peyton is not going to be able to move the ball. And he actually surprised me, Peyton Manning. He moved the ball twice and got 6 points, which is actually a little bit more than I expected. And that's a horrendous performance if you only get 6 points. He put up 3 in the first drive of the game, another 3 in the first drive of the second half, and that was it. That's almost literally it. There was a 40-yard run by Anderson that put him in field goal range, which Peyton followed that on a third down, terrible interception that he threw. He threw one actual interception, but he could have thrown 4 more. There were 2 that should have been picked off, 2 that could have been picked off. He fumbled the ball on a 3rd and 15, like protect the ball. You had a 9-point, just protect the ball. He did nothing, and that was I would expect. I don't know what you expected, but 6 points was a lot. So how did they win this game? So again, 13-6. I have it 13-6, 13-9. You want to give them 10 points, 13-10. How did they win? Not because defense wins championships, because Carolina also has defense. They can win a championship. Their defense stopped Manning more than Denver's defense stopped Carolina. Now, of course, the Denver defense stopping Carolina was more surprising. I understand that. But ultimately, Carolina still has the better team. Even if Denver stops Carolina on offense, Carolina is also going to stop Denver when Denver has the ball. And stop them more effectively, which they did. So how did they win the game? 14 points off turnovers, directly off turnovers. Cam Miller, 2 sacks, both one directly for 7-1, almost directly. They had to go 5 yards, which was a struggle for Manning. And they got 14 points off turnovers. So if you want to summarize the game in 1 minute, what you say, in less than a minute, you say both teams could not get anything going on offense, which is a little surprised that Denver's defense totally did a great job on Cam. And they did a great job. If you think I'm taking away anything from the Denver defense, you're mistaken. Denver's defense played fantastic, and they deserve to win the game. I'm not even saying they don't deserve to win. If you hear that coming out of my mouth and say, "Oh, making excuses for Carolina," no. Denver deserved to win this game. My point is, but what a huge upset it was. Huge upset. The 4 or 5 points that Vegas had, it doesn't correctly assess. Carolina should have been an 8, 9, 10-point favorite. And after I see the game, after I watch the game, that for sure stands out. No, do you see we're wrong? Don't you see Denver's the better team? No. I see that Carolina was a 10-point favorite. What a huge upset it was. And that the only way Denver could win that game was if there were 14 points of turnovers, which there were. 14 direct points. They also got 3 points off of a fluke punt return. There's your 24-10. And I can stop right there, except I do want to add a little bit about luck. A little bit about an element of luck here. The fact that the fumbles happened at the goal line, you could say is a little bit of element of luck. I mean, the fact that Cam is fumbling is a little bit of luck. All right, he's got to protect the ball. But if there's a lot of pass rush and he keeps getting hit, he's bound to fumble. But he was bound to fumble near his goal line. If he fumbles the ball in the 50 both times, Denver's doing nothing with it because Denver's doing nothing on offense all day. He happened to fumble it. Oh, by the way, Von Miller committed penalties on each of them, which were not. I finally see people noticing this. That Cam, I see people on NFL.com comment section that Von hit Cam across the helmet, not face mask. He hit him with a blow to the head, which happened to be on the face mask. That's an automatic 15-yarder. And the batted ball, when the ball was loose, and Cam for some reason doesn't go for it. And by the way, that really is another reason Denver deserves to win this game. Denver knocked Cam around to the point where he was like timid. He wasn't even sliding. They were not their macho selves. They knocked Carolina out of their macho selves. And Carolina should have went for it on that first drive when they got 9 yards and should have went for it. Again, that's documented on my 6-part series. And they also should have gone to the 2-point conversion after Talib was offside on the extra point. Again, they didn't have that macho. The only thing they kept that was macho. Was we're going to keep throwing the ball down the field instead of changing and protecting better, throwing shorter passes, which is, I admit, is not their game. But they could have thrown to Olsen shorter. They could have thrown to the running back out of the backfield a little bit more. They could have ran Cam a little bit more. Adapt to the fact that you're getting hit and sacked. Don't keep throwing the 15-yard patterns and the 20-yard patterns. And I document that during my 8-part, 10-part series. I don't know how many parts I did. But anyway, getting back to luck, there was that little batted ball. If the ball's laying there and Cam doesn't go for it, Von Miller grabs it and swings it around and throws it, kind of hits it, throws it forward. Finally, Peter King noticed it and asked Von Miller about it. This is just yesterday's article. And in fact, Von said, "Yeah, I was just trying to help a teammate." An illegal bat. Can you believe it? There were penalties. As far as other things, again, I don't want to get into. I'm going to make it sound like Denver won because of luck. I think more of the luck did go Denver's way on penalties. Well, by the way, the refs got the Kotchery call right, incomplete, and Talib was not offside on the field goal. He got up before the snap, but did not pass the line before the snap. You could slow it down and do that. I have it documented. I have that one on my thing, on my 6-part, 8-part. How many spots? Who has time for all this? But they did get a break that they should have thrown Talib out of the game on his violent, flagrant, dangerous face where he took the face mask and fling the guy out of bounds. Anyway, I see I got 20 seconds left. Denver won the game and deserved to win. Carolina, it was the 10-point vote. It was an upset. And don't just say defense won championships. Carolina defense too. Denver won because they got 14 points of direct turnovers. Carolina didn't. That is my best SALT production yet.